Hey guys, welcome back to the WODdoc Project365, episode 358. Today what we're talking about is shoulder pressing or strict pressing. Now, there's a couple different faults that we commonly see, so I'm going to give you one of the common presentations, a test to check for it, and then or a strategy at which we try to tackle that. Okay? That might fall down. Don't worry about it. We'll come back to that. Anyway, when we talk about strict presses, it doesn't matter the level of people that we see. We see this in all levels, from beginners to elite. Ideally, when we talk about doing a proper strict press, the first thing that it starts with is activation of the glutes, right? We talk about squeezing those glutes down so that I told you that was going to happen. So about squeezing the glutes down so that it locks down and creates a platform for our torso to be off of. And then the next thing that we do is we tighten down our torso, so we lock everything down. Now we have this solid platform all the way up to our shoulders, and we can isolate our shoulders, elbows to stay in front of the bar, chin jets back, and we move everything up and out of the way in this straight, perfect line, ideally. But we have two different faults that we commonly see. The first fault that we see is the people or the athletes that don't really lock down their buttocks, right? And they kind of stay up tight here, but they allow everything to kind of drift forward, okay? And their shoulders and heels will stay in line, but the pelvis kind of drifts forward, and they kind of get behind the bar like that, and they press up and over. The second one at which we see are the people that do lock down their pelvis really well, okay? But as the weight gets heavy, they press back, and they come up and over like that. So although their pelvis didn't translate forward, their shoulders translated backwards a lot. One of the ways that we can check for this, if you don't have a buddy that's doing it, hopefully this doesn't take forever to get going, is by using two foam rollers, okay? We use two, and ideally we use 1 1/2 of one because it's easier to knock over. However, you can use two, okay? So we get into our shoulder press position, and I want to get my butt nice and tight to where I am. Oh, so how am I doing that?
Right there.
Good, right? I squeeze down my buttocks. If I'm that person that kind of leans back to press up and out, you see that I get an automatic feedback that I knock that over. So what is the strategy at which we can use to correct this? Well, I'm going to get rid of the regular foam roller. I'm going to stick with the half foam roller, okay? And from right there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a T type of situation where I give myself a little bit of headrest here and a half a foam roller. You'll notice that this is much lower than we see with a lot of these type of exercises, because what I'm going to do here is get into my overhead position. This has to come down so that the half foam roller is going to be even, okay, with the middle of my shoulder blades, okay? If the bottom of your shoulder blades hit, we're too low, okay? If we get all the way up to our neck, we're too high. We want to be kind of just centered right evenly there, and pretty much like I am. This right here is something that I think is a big key. It doesn't obviously have to be two stability pads. It just has to be something which allows the head to rest comfortably. Because if the neck is super, super tight, it's very hard to relax the shoulders, okay? So, head comes down, and I'm going to take the same press grip in which I would use. It's going to come up and over my head. The first thing you're going to notice is the small of my back. If you come down just really low here so they can see. The small of my back kind of like arches up off the ground, okay? So what I want to start to be able to do is I'm going to use my heels right here. My hands are kind of on the ground, and because it's only a half a foam roller, I shouldn't be jacked up off the ground. So my hands kind of just rest onto the ground. My butt is on the ground, and my feet are kind of in a bridge type position. I'm going to take a breath in, and as I breathe out, I'm going to drive through my heels, and I'm going to activate my stomach, right? My all my abdominal tissue. And I'm just going to try to drive through my heels and drive the center of my back down to the ground, okay? As I do that, I'm going to hold that there to whatever spot I get to. If you get any numbness in the hands or tingling in the fingers, obviously we're going to stop and reset. But if not, we're going to hold that there. We're going to take another deep breath in and a deep breath out. As we breathe out, we're going to take another go at pressing our small of our back down towards the ground. And I'm going to hold right there. Hold about here just to get a nice good stretch in, about 8 to 10 seconds or so. Again, another deep breath in, another deep breath out, another go at pressing the small of my back down towards the ground. Whenever I get to wherever I max out at, I'm just going to hold that there, keeping my abdominals contracted, keeping this nice and tight. Why do I like doing that where I'm focusing on bringing this part of my torso down over my chest or over my shoulders? Because I don't necessarily care about increasing my shoulder mobility right here. Although it's important, I want to think about keeping the abdominals contracted. So by keeping the abdominals contracting, that core nice and tight, and at the same time driving my heels off the ground, I get some glute activation, I get some core activation, and I get some overhead mobility all at the same time. So it's kind of like a double or triple whammy. This is what I like to do. I probably do about 3 to 5 sets of this, and we're working on the breath. The breath is the big thing. The breath, contraction, small the back down towards the floor. Okay, guys, try that out. See if it works for you. Do the test, do the fix, and hopefully make some progress. Until tomorrow, we're optimizing function to optimize performance.